everyone, welcome to this update video. I hope you're doing awesome this evening. Now, we're going to be talking about newly formed Alberto. So as expected, potential tropical cyclone 1 has intensified into the first named storm of the hurricane season, Alberto. So it's safe to say that name is crossed off the list. The next name is Beryl. But the focus is on Alberto for now, but also this area here, which is likely to remain active. And by the way, you may be hearing a bit of background noise. It's actually starting to rain here in my area at the time I'm recording this video. By the way, this is in St. James, Jamaica. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So we can see here that Alberto is looking very much impressive on the satellite imagery right now. It is not a fully symmetrical storm because there is wind shear, those upper level winds affecting the northern part of the system. And overall, we're talking about a broad, expansive area in the Western Gulf right now. So it is going to be moving in as we head into early tomorrow morning, but those impacts have begun. The storm surge, the heavy rain, the strong tropical storm force winds of up to 40 miles per hour with higher gusts. So Alberto is going to be moving in, and once it moves into Mexico, it's going to rapidly weaken and dissipate because it is the very warm waters it is over right now, which are fueling it. Those very warm temperatures are helping the system to remain organized, to give it that constant supply of energy to keep it going and to potentially make it strengthen a little bit more. So that is keeping it going, but once it moves over land, it's going to be cut off from its source of fuel and energy. Hence, it'll be rapidly weakening. But that rain threat is going to be very much prevalent for northeastern Mexico. Again, there's already heavy rain moving into the area, the tropical storm warning area, which extends from coastal Texas down to northeast Mexico. So that is Alberto. We've got our two other disturbances. So right where Alberto is, we see the same area highlighted in yellow. So that is a chance of seeing development within the next 7 days. So that highlighted area is given a 30% chance of development over the course of the next 7 days. So by this weekend, we could see another area of low pressure form within the Gulf and intensify, taking on a similar route to that of Alberto. So we're going to be looking at what the models have to show. But in addition, we've got that other disturbance southwest of Bermuda that is going to continue to approach the southeast state. So it is a trough of low pressure, but the environment is not going to be too conducive to allow much intensification of the system. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the models have to show. We can see here that it's looking very much, there's a lot going on here. So we've got the GFS model up first, and there we can see the time. That is the forecast time. Now, these green shadings you're seeing indicate the precipitation rate. And when we see those yellows, red, orange, pinkish shadings, that is indicating heavier rain. So this is the forecast for tomorrow morning. There we can see that at the time, Alberto is going to be moving in with all that rain into parts of Mexico and southern Texas. And then there's that trough on its approach to the southeastern states. It is going to be moving to the west because there we can see that area of high pressure situated offshore the U.S. So winds within the high pressure area in the north rotates in a clockwise fashion. So that is why the system is going to be moving to the west and then kind of to the west-northwest. But then we see all that moisture still around Central America. Then as we're going to be heading into this weekend, early on Saturday, take a look at that area of low pressure in the southern Gulf. Similar thing, a déjà vu scenario here, because this is what we've been seeing with Alberto. So it's going to be something very much similar. And then as we head into later on Saturday, we can see that this system has a lot more moisture associated with it. So it may not have as much time over the Gulf compared to Alberto, since, it was designated as an invest and then PTC1. And then eventually today, it became a named storm. So it may not have that much time. And because of the time limit, even if there are conducive conditions, it may not actually have the chance to grasp the full opportunity to strengthen. So it is going to be moving in regardless. Let's look at the Euro model here. Euro kind of in agreement. By late Thursday, we see that trough approaching the southeastern states. Again, there's that area of high pressure and all that moisture around parts of the West Caribbean and Central America. By the time Alberto would have moved in to Mexico, and then take a look at this. By Saturday, we see that area of low pressure forming in the Bay of Campeche. So all that moisture associated with it, Euro also picking up on that area of low pressure. Let's go ahead and move right along. We've got the icon model last but not least. We can see here by Friday that trough not likely to develop, and then we can see all this moisture. But instead of showing much of it coming from the Caribbean side of Central America, we kind of see it from the Pacific, all that moisture kind of feeding into the Gulf. And then we see that airflow pressure forming by we head into late Saturday. So around that time, we could definitely see development. Now, one thing that the models are showing is that, yes, they're in agreement about an airflow pressure forming, but they're not showing something very strong. So conditions may not be very conducive to allow for an intense system to form. However, we don't need an intense tropical cyclone for there to be dangerous conditions because it's going to remain wet. There's going to be a lot of rain throughout this week and as we head into the weekend for the vicinity of Central America. So that is going to be the most significant problem, the rainfall threat. And so guys, I'll be keeping you posted on this, just giving you a heads up on what could be ahead. I haven't delved much into this next potential system, so that's why I'm talking about it this evening. Elsewhere across the Caribbean, though, there's been some thunderstorms developing. There's been some periods of heavy downpours across some areas as well. Meanwhile, others have been dry and dusty. Let's not forget about the Saharan dust, which has been making its way in. And so, of course, as I said, I'll keep you posted on what is happening. So that is it for this update, and I hope you found it to be informative. But if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll respond to you when I get the chance to do so. And remember to always be weatherwise.